You know, it can be really easy to get caught up in a spiral of anxiety, overwhelm and fear. Before we know it, we're feeling unhealthy, our relationships are suffering, and it can seem like an uphill struggle to be happy again.
In this episode, we're going to share our own recent struggles, when we felt like giving up ourselves, and the strategies we used and continue to use to bring peace and contentment back to our lives. Hi, I'm James Davis.
And I'm Claire Davis.
We're the Midlife Mentors, here to lift the lid on how to achieve health and happiness.
The balanced, no-nonsense way.
Hello, and welcome to the Midlife Mentors with
Claire.
and myself, James. We are on the long-awaited episode 2 of season 3. And we can only apologise for the... Well, actually, if you're not listening to these in real time, I'm doing inverted commas with my fingers. You can't see that.
He is. They can't, yeah. You can't see it.
It will just
It's
be the
audio.
next in the sequence to you if you're catching up later. But there has been a bit of a break between season 3, episode 1 and season 3, episode 2.
There has, guys. Like, yeah, we can't apologise enough. We had the best intentions, and that's actually what this podcast is all about today. It's kind of about setting the best intentions, and obviously at the beginning of January, that's what we do. We set the best intentions with that dreaded word, resolutions, and we have the most amazing intent and the drive and the vigour and the energy, and then life happens and yeah, it doesn't go according to plan. And that's what's happened with this podcast. And I'm going to be really vulnerable with you. We've actually recorded this already before, and
I'm going to jump in here. It's ironic. This podcast called What to Do When You Feel Like Giving Up. This is about our 4th attempt on this.
It's not, he's exaggerating.
It's our 3rd, Claire, definitely.
No, it's our 3rd, and I tell you why. Because I only want to give... I do. What
are you saying about me?
No. I tell you what. Anyone that knows me, anyone that's listened to this, I do joke that I'm a recovering perfectionist. And the thing is, there's still a little bit of that element in me. I'm going to admit it, but I think it's on a good level. I know James might disagree. But, you know, I always want to be my best for you, and I know James does too, but I listened back to the podcast, and actually normally we don't do that. Be really honest with you. We don't listen back because I know that I'm a perfectionist and probably over-analytical and blah, blah, blah. I don't listen to them back normally, but I was like, I'm going to listen to this one back. And I told James, he was like, oh no.
I can't tell you the feeling when you've recorded 25 minutes of a 30-minute podcast and the person you're doing it with goes, no, I don't like it. For the second time.
I know. So the long shot, where I'm trying to get to here is like, I listened to it back and I was like, do you know what? That's definitely not my best. And it's not James's best either. And
my bit was brilliant, actually.
He always thinks he's brilliant. He's a Sagittarius.
I might release the files one day. It'll be like the director's cut.
Oh, it's going to be funny. Let's do that. Me going, swearing my head off, going, no.
And of course, you'll benefit from my sensible, in-depth knowledge in those outtakes.
And me just giggling nervously behind him going...
in all seriousness, so this podcast, we're going to talk you through like why you might feel like giving up, what to do when that happens, and of course useful tips and tricks to kind of get you through it. But this podcast is a real life example of what to do when you feel like giving up. Because
we did. And also there's so many relevant points. This one is really, really close to our hearts. I think that's why I was really, really stringent about it and going, okay, this needs to be bang on because it's super vulnerable, because it's so relevant to where we've been these last few months. So we came back from Ibiza at the beginning of November. We started with episode 1, season 3. We had all good intentions. That was about December, wasn't it? Yeah, had all the best intentions. And things just have completely thrown us off consistently. And some of them are really, really still how can I put this? We're still kind of trying to recover from some of them. They really did throw us off from where we thought we were going to be. So it's taken a bit of time to really come to terms with what's happened and actually be able to put the pieces together in our head and in our life and actually deliver this podcast right now, which we're so excited to do. I can tell just from the vibe of us doing this is so different to the one we recorded like even 10 days ago. So what are you laughing at?
I'm not laughing. In all seriousness, I know we're gonna deep dive into this, but it's really important to know.
He just sits here grinning sometimes.
We do all get these times where we doubt what we're doing, or we just feel tired and we want to give up and stop or look for a different way, whatever. So it's natural. So I think I say before we get into it all, these things come to us all, and it is okay. And it's okay to go, you know what? I accept that. Life has dealt me a different hand from what I was expecting here. You know what? It's actually realising that sometimes you don't have power over things that come in your life, and just accepting that and rolling with it and being like, you know what? I'm just going to do the best I can at this moment. So I've sidetracked and jumped ahead there, but just so you know right at the outset, it is fine, guys. If you're feeling like that at the moment, you know, life will come along. And you have to accept it and roll with it and not be too hard on yourself.
Yeah, so what are you know, if you're sitting there at the moment, like, part of the reason I just want to do a really shameless little plug, it's not really a shameless plug, because also what we've been doing here, not only has our life been all over the place, we're actually recording this from London, our new little place in London, in Belsize Park. We're very, very grateful to be here. We love it. This is the area we got married. What?
It is. Well, no, just saying, we're just having such a great time here. We've kind of hibernated through January, which I think what Claire's going to allude to in a moment, what we've been working on.
Absolutely.
But we're just starting to come out of our chrysalis and dip our toes in loads of like events, and it's amazing. We've been to like the London Writers Club, because obviously we are going to bring out a book.
Yes, we are.
So we've been talking about that. We went to
just to add to our list,
entrepreneurs panel over at White City by our friends at Vina Media. That was like really, really inspiring, actually.
Yes, and I've been to like different talks with a place called Alternatives. So they do, actually that's one you came to me, it came with.
Yes, How Your Mind Can Heal Your Body, which was amazing.
And there's just loads and loads of talks in London. So we're kind of starting to come out of what James says our chrysalis in January, and starting to explore London. So everything happens when you're ready, basically, is where that's kind of going. But we've also been working on the midlife stuff. Now, obviously, this is called the Midlife Mentors Podcast. This is our passion, this is our mission, is to inspire and give midlifers the step-by-step process to really, really live an extraordinary life and not feel like this is a moment in time where it's all downhill. We're delivering something extraordinary. We've been working on it so hard. We've got some amazing feedback. We had some super responses from all of you out there, because at the end of the day, we need to know that this is something you wanted, what you wanted in this program. And yeah, we've got some amazing responses. We're just so grateful for the community and the tribe we have that are pushing us forward, helping us build this thing, and it should be launched in the next few weeks.
We'll be launched next few weeks. We have a firm launch date, and it is really, really exciting. Exciting.
You know, we just...
We'll give you more details on it, I guess, closer to the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we are going to do here is just ask you a question. So have you set these great intentions, these amazing resolutions for January and beyond? And are you sitting there now going, oh my God, like, I can't believe already I've fallen off the wagon. This is really hard. I'm beating myself up. I'm useless. See, it's happened again. All these horrible things we start talking, saying in our head about ourselves. Are you there?
Yes, and if you are listening to this in near real time, you may well be, because we are at the very end of January right now. And I think from the third week of January into the first week of February is statistically where most people fall off their resolution wagon and give up. And certainly like the gym that we do some of our lives from, we noticed this week it was a lot quieter very early in the morning than it had been in the first 3 weeks of January. And I think that's a general theme like for gyms everywhere. It doesn't have to be like a fitness goal. I think It's only natural. We set these expectations and these goals. We're going to talk about expectations and the role they play. But, we can feel like, oh, I've been doing this for 3 or 4 weeks. And like,
not
is
working.
it working? We all think things are going to happen faster than they do, I think.
So we're going to go into the main reasons.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. We're going to go into the main reasons that these happen so that you have some awareness that you aren't alone. So you have some understanding about why these things are happening to you. And actually, I don't know whether to say this or not, but it's not really your fault to a degree. It's actually you're kind of setting yourself up to fail already by doing these things that we're going to talk about. So, we see this all the time. Most of the time, you're trying to do too much too soon.
Oh, yeah.
You're trying to do the complete opposite of what you have been doing. So that could be, for example, dry January, which we have done, by the way. I've done dry January for the first time ever, and I've absolutely loved it and haven't actually found it that difficult. But we try and do the complete opposite of what we normally do. So, for using the gym example, we haven't been going consistently. We haven't been doing any exercise at all. Now, we're going 6 times a week. We're setting our alarm really early. We're smashing the gym. We're making ourselves go to the gym for an hour 6 times a week. And that is the complete opposite of what you were doing. And we've got a perfect example of this. So 2 years ago, I made James. James start getting up. I think it was 5:15 every morning.
Now, Claire is not a morning person. I have to add that here. So,
although
she was making us, I was the one that ended up stumbling around making coffee and stuff while she groaned in the bed.
That sounds a bit wrong. But yes, I was, basically I look like a mole in the morning. We joke. My eyes don't uncrinkle until about 2 hours later. I look like a little mole coming out of the darkness. But I was making, the point of that is I was making James and I get up at 5:15 because, and this was a January resolution 2 years ago, I was like, right, in order to be successful and do everything we want to do in the world and I want to do in the world, millionaires and successful people, they get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. I've been listening to all these motivational YouTube videos, and that's what we're going to do.
I think Claire had done too many rah-rah, and I was telling her this, I remember years ago, that slogan, you've probably seen it, it's like, on the plains of Africa, as the sun comes up, the lion knows it must run faster than the antelope if it's to eat. The antelope knows it must outrun the lion. Whether you're an antelope or a lion, when the sun comes up, you better be running.
Running.
Yeah.
Run. Yeah.
I said, look, what if you're just like a porcupine? Yeah, chill. Get up whenever you want. You're not running anywhere. And they're perfectly happy. So be careful about the things you go for.
Well, be careful about doing the complete opposite of what you're doing because you're going to burn out. And we'll go on to why this also happens. These are kind of building on them, on each other, these points.
Well, I would say the other thing related to that is like people will have one particular goal. They use the example of getting fit and they go from like, oh, I go to like nothing to I'll go 6 times a week for an hour a day. The other thing people do is like, oh, I feel there's so much wrong in my life. You know what? I'm gonna attack my body, my nutrition, my mindset, my emotional well-being. I've signed up for therapy classes, gym classes.
Yeah.
Listen, your subconscious will completely freak out if you try and change too many things all at the same time. You need to focus on one thing, 2 at the most.
Baby steps.
And just keep that focus. And then as you're getting comfortable whether you're progressing on that, you can introduce the next element. Trying to change 5 or 6 things at the same time.
It's a very good point. And
it's tricky.
He's cannibalising one of my points of how to overcome this. But he didn't really know that, so it's fine. I'll let him off. It's a really good point, though. We kind of get on these podcasts and just roll with it, don't we?
We do.
Some people say just be really, really structured, but even though I'm a perfectionist, it doesn't really work for me. So we're just, shooting from the hip. So one of the points of that is also it just doesn't bring you any joy. So in that kind of story about me making James get up at 5:15, I was absolutely knackered by about midday. I was resentful. I was quite an angry little person, wasn't I?
I'm saying nothing.
No, I'm serious though, because it didn't bring any joy. You have to also be doing things for the joy of it. That's what life is about. It's supposed to be experienced with, joy. And making yourself do this stuff without any joy connected to it of course you're going to flip the other way. Of course you're going to give it up because it doesn't feel nice to carry on doing this, especially like James says, if you're trying to do so many different things. So the next one, James, do you want to talk around that?
Which is the next one, Claire?
It's expectations.
Oh, expectations. Yeah, so this is linked. So again, well, this is kind of linked with like going all out or trying to change too many things at the same time. Our expectations, we can set really high expectations.
What is the next one?
You know, it's like, I want to drop like 5 dress sizes in 3 months, or you know, I'm getting by now, but I want to be a millionaire in 3 months. I'm not saying these things are impossible, but if we set the goal too high too soon, we're basically setting a massive expectation, and then what happens is we start to become aware of the gap between our reality and our expectation.
Oh, beautiful.
And that causes us unhappiness. And of course, as Claire's saying, when you're working towards goals, you really want to connect with the goal and be joyful in the moment of actually achieving it. Like, so as you're working towards it, experience joy of the fact you're working towards it, not when I get there, I'll allow myself to be joyful. And of course, if we set like a massive expectation, if you say, oh, this time next year, Rodney, or this time in 6 months, I want to be a millionaire, and right now you're not anywhere near that, you know, all you're doing really is setting yourself up for a bit of misery by having a really high goal. I mean, you might go hell out driven for it for like 3 months, and then be like, oh, you know what, I'm making like 70,000, but that still leaves me another like 830,000 to go in the next 3 months. Again,
so, like just applying this to our life, because I think we all like stories, you know, as human beings. We like to connect and understand that other people are going through the same thing. You know, like what I would say about that whole getting up really early in the morning, like sometimes I have to check myself. We still get up at 5:30 in the morning, but actually, really interestingly, it's more full of joy because we both became aware that we were doing things that weren't actually bringing us joy on a day-to-day basis. So now, one of the reasons we did this podcast and started doing it back in May last year was because this brought us joy. Like, we were building platforms. So for about 18 months, we were building the 38N Academy platform and online stuff. And I was editing videos and James was building the back end of websites. It is not what we love to do. So I was making us get up at like 5:15 and do all these things that we didn't like doing, well, aren't natural to us. We're quite creative, giving, get our energy off of people, get our energy out of giving, like this kind of stuff, this advice, and bantering with each other.
I can't tell you how much I enjoyed teaching myself HTML coding.
It was awful, guys. It really was. So that was a real learning for us, and it did take about 18 months and going, why don't we feel satisfied? Like, we've created this beautiful thing, this amazing thing, but why don't I feel happy at the moment? And it was because the joy had gone out of my life. I can only talk about myself. That's when I started doing, I don't know whether anyone follows me on Facebook, on my personal page, I was doing really vulnerable, heartfelt posts because that's who I am. I want to share my stories. I want people to feel like they're not alone, to resonate, to give. And I wasn't doing any of that. So that's part of why sometimes your resolutions and the things that you really want aren't working because there's no joy in it.
Yeah. So I would say on expectations, exactly what Claire said, but also make sure you're setting realistic ones. And say you want to get to £1 million, but go, okay, what's a realistic time scale to get there? And actually go, how am I going to get there? Oh, I'm going to sell something that costs X, and then start to work it out. Go, okay, after 2 months, I might be doing £20,000 of revenue, and then build it and look at the small steps and the milestones to get there. I say the other thing linked to expectations we talk about all the time is stay in your own lane. It's all too easy to then look at other people who are doing the thing that you want to do and be like, oh my goodness, they're doing so much better than me. And then you can get feelings of resentment and all the rest of it. Don't do it, guys. Just focus on you and what you're doing, and don't worry about what everyone else is doing.
I love that point. And again, totally what I've done before is comparison is the thief of joy. We've said that before, and it can really bring you down because you are working really hard, and then you see other people and you're like, oh my gosh, like why are they so much further ahead? Listen, guys, we don't know what they've been through. Like, we don't know their journey. We're all on a completely separate journey, and the only one that ever matters is yours. So stay in your own lane. Like, the only purpose for you to be here I believe James believes, is to experience the highest version of yourself, and you're not going to do that by comparing yourself to anyone else, because it's none of your business. None of your business. Yeah, also a part of that is kind of like the perfectionism, which we've already touched upon. And remember, this is something I've learned, perfectionism is the enemy of progress. So, you're expecting yourself to be perfect. You're expecting yourself from going, nothing. So not going to the gym, not working out, having like 10 glasses of wine a week. Then you're expecting yourself to be perfect and having no glasses of wine a week, or going to the gym loads, or anything, or working really hard, or building the business. And actually, you're trying to be perfect, and it doesn't exist.
Yeah, so just on that, I hope I'm not going to jump ahead here, but the whole perfectionism things, we can use as excuse for procrastination as well. It was an American general in World War II, as Arthur Patton or MacArthur said the thing, a good plan executed aggressively today is better than the perfect plan executed at some point down the line, meaning just go for the best options available now.
You are so wise, Mr. D.
Yes. Thank you.
No, it's really true. It's really, really true, and that is something that James has definitely brought out in me. I would sit there and meticulously, painstakingly worry about everything. This podcast is an exact example of that. Yeah. We just got it out there.
So the takeaway from that is like a small step, any small step towards your goal is better than going, it's not perfect today, so actually I won't do it. I'll wait for my muse to come. I'll wait to be inspired. Yeah. And before you know it, like a week's gone by and you haven't done anything towards your goal. So even if it's not perfect, just do something every day.
There's something around fear around that, though, isn't there? Like fear of putting yourself out there and fear of failure. So you're kind of using perfectionism as, I've just realised something about myself. Using perfectionism actually as a way of protecting yourself.
Yes.
You're protecting yourself and putting yourself out there for the fear of failure. What's everyone going to say? What am I going to, what if all of that stuff is actually just trying to protect you. That's what procrastination and perfectionism is.
Exactly.
James was about to say something funny then, I think. But decided against it.
Totally inappropriate, so I decided to hold it back for another.
Really?
One of those outtakes.
You don't normally hold back. Another one that we really love, another reason, this is I would actually say this is the most fundamental reason that you are not following through on these resolutions, following through on these plans. Oh my goodness, his mind's in the gutter. Following through, is that really funny? Is your belief systems and your self-identity. So the problem is, what happens is we want to go for something. We want to become something. We want to have something. But the thing is, our self-identity isn't congruent to what we want. So you might be saying, I want to start my own business. I want to be a successful entrepreneur. But your self-identity is saying this. I'm stuck. Things never work out for me. I always fail. Look at last time when I tried that business and it didn't work out. Look how humiliated I felt. And then the other part of yourself is going, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to create this dream business. Or I'm going to drop 3 dress sizes. But your mind is saying, you're a fat person. You're fat. Always have been.
So it's your mind. I think, to make it really clear to you, it's your subconscious, right? So it's the old reptilian part is where your beliefs are. Your subconscious reptilian part, your beliefs sit there. And if you try and fight, if your conscious mind, like Claire's saying, is going to go for, I'm going to be a millionaire, but your beliefs are like, I'm terrible with money, there's never enough. Even like fighting that, you are never going to win. And this is a whole separate podcast we're going to do.
And really a major part of our midlife program that we're launching.
There is a way basically to calm your subconscious, reassure it, and actually then shift your beliefs into what we want them to be.
There's a program running, basically, is what we're saying. There's a program that is running, like a computer, over and over and over and over again. And James says we could dive into this. It's such a passion of ours because we are doing it every day ourselves.
We are going to dive into it in another session, aren't we?
It's probably a whole podcast or 3, but it's fascinating stuff. But your brain is running a program like a computer. but you're saying you want to do something else and something different, the computer program will always win.
Yes, so you need to reprogram the computer, which is exactly what we do with our clients and what we're going to work.
It's the first place we start.
In this program.
Yeah.
But that is a subject for another day. But just useful to know. So just check whether your deeply held beliefs. Be honest with yourself. Are they in line with what you're aiming to achieve?
Exactly. It's like, I want to go there. What am I believing though about myself?
Exactly.
Awareness is key. And the last reason is
I touched on this.
Yeah, life throws you off. So I'm just going to give you a little nugget before we move on to what we can do about this, because we're all about giving you key takeaways, transformational takeaways. But life throws you off course, okay? So we had loads and loads of stuff go on in November. We were supposed to move somewhere, fought for it for 2 years, supposed to move somewhere. The whole fallout from that, we're no longer there, we're in London instead, which will come on to actually how we've dealt with that. And that's one of the points of a key takeaway, is how we dealt with that. So we really want to give that to you. But I've just got to tell you this it's funny story. I mean, it might sound a bit irresponsible, but basically, 4 days ago, James and I got back from the gym, and I said to James, "Where's the car?" James was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "The car was there when we left this morning." Anyway, cut a long story short, we thought it had been stolen from outside in Belsize Park, very lovely area, our car, out of all the lovely cars, we thought ours had been stolen. So we come in, we phoned up James, God bless him, phones the police. I'm sitting there thinking, right, getting my insurance details out. And it is my car from old, basically. So I've always dealt with all the insurance and the tax and the MOT and everything. So James comes off the phone and said the police officer asked if it was, MOT'd and insured and taxed. And I was like, yeah, it's definitely taxed. Definitely taxed. James goes on to check. Oh, no, it's not. And then we were like, oh my goodness. So we were supposed to have a great day doing loads of work for the midlife method program. We had so much work to do, massive intent. Anyway, find out that it's actually in the car pound in Enfield. So the entire day is taken up, and the stress, literally the stress. When the blood drains from your body. So we go over, pick it up and come back. Whole day's gone. And the thing is, one of the takeaways is that's just happened. Life happens, guys. This is just stuff that it's going to throw you. So if something's happened for you in January, I know it has. We've had loads and loads of messages. I know for some of you, it's been quite a turbulent January. But yeah, if stuff has thrown you, please don't think you're alone, because we've had it, and I'm going to give you some examples of how to overcome that. So, what can we do?
Yes, here come the useful tips, the takeaways.
Stay consistent, guys. Stay consistent. It is not about how much you do. It is not about the massive impact that you're doing, going all out. It is about consistency. That's what matters. And I'll say this. The thing is, if you don't stay consistent, what you're going to keep doing is keep reliving the pain of getting going each time. So think about that. If you think it's painful being consistent, or you think it's just exhausting being consistent, bring it down, be more realistic, do little things, but just think about the fact, if you keep quitting, if you keep giving up on the thing that you really, really want, you're basically reliving the pain of starting all over again. And slowly, you are building that subconscious mind, that constant natter of, I always give up, which is a lot harder each time you go back to it to overcome.
Yeah, and from a neuroscience perspective, if we're aiming to learn a new skill, or if we're installing new habits that we want, you have to do it every day consistently to build the new neural pathways. What you can't do is leave it 10 days, then do it 10 times on one day. It won't work. You need to do it every day consistently and start building the new neural pathways in the brain. So, great quotes from Bruce Lee. He said, long-term consistency trumps short-term intensity.
Whoop, whoop.
And that's true. And he summed it up a different way, and I love this one.
This is amazing. I love this.
I don't fear the man who's practiced 10,000 kicks. I fear the man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times. So that's it. It's just about every day, small steps towards your goal. Even the days you feel like skipping it, not doing it, just do something over small.
And think about how difficult it is to keep getting started over and over again.
Yeah.
Look at what your goal is and chunk it down into 2-week goals. So don't look at the top of the mountain. We've said this on a recent podcast.
Many times.
Yeah, many times. Break it down. Just give yourself 2 things to do over the next 2 weeks. Focus on that. Almost put the big goal, top of the mountain, aside.
Your beliefs and your self-identity, just check in with whatever your goal is, that you'll be honest with yourself. Your truly held beliefs are aligned with it. We will do a whole other podcast on this, but like in the meantime, what you can do is just like daily affirmations again, because doing the affirmations, like the beliefs that you want to install, affirming those every day, those beliefs will start to become entrenched in your mind, in your subconscious.
Can you give an example, actually, what an affirmation is?
So an affirmation could be, I am a person who enjoys going to the gym. And just say that every day. So every time you wake up, I'm enjoying it. A beautiful one, actually, that's general one that everyone will love is like, today I choose happiness. Today I choose success. Today I choose the right actions. Say that every day, every day, every day, every day. Guarantee you'll start 30 days plus to actually notice a difference in your outlook, your behaviour, because you're wiring your brain to say to yourself, I am a happy person, I am a successful person, I do the right things.
Listen, guys, it's going to feel weird at the beginning, but we promise you, it has never actually failed. If you stay consistent, which is the first point, over and over and over again with this, it will actually start to feel like truth.
Yeah. Another powerful tool is visualizing. So give it another name is like future pacing. So that is just imagine yourself at a point ahead in time. We recommend not too far, but like having achieved your goals. But just spend even just a few minutes, but really go into like try and engage all your senses. So imagine like where you are, what you look like, how you're feeling, what you can hear around you, what you can see around you, how people are looking at you, smells around you. Just engage all your senses, but especially your feeling sense. Just be in that. So that could be something like you're looking in the mirror at yourself and your body is the way that you are aiming for in your goal, and how that feels and how that plays out in your day when you go to work, and how people like are talking to you, how you hold yourself. It
could be you having started your successful business and you walking into your office and the team's sitting there and you've bought coffee for everyone.
Again, a really powerful cue. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between reality and imagined, which sounds weird. Again, another one for another podcast. But actually, the more vividly you can visualize this thing and consistently do it, your subconscious will start to accept it as a reality.
And then it becomes a reality.
Yeah.
But
deep.
That's a whole law of attraction podcast right there. The last one is actually really related to that whole car thing. That's why I wanted to tell you about the car thing, because I was like, it was my fault, basically. It was my fault, and I was like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. I can't believe I've done this. I was really beating myself up, really being nasty to myself in my head. And I was like, do you know what, actually? What can I do about this right now? What difference can I make right now to what's happened? So ask yourself, this will calm you. What can you do about something that has already happened? You can do nothing. So I urge you, if you are feeling right now that life has thrown some massive curveballs at you, even in 2020, get that 2020 vision out. That's what 2020 is all about, 2020 vision. Get it out and look at what are the positive aspects of it. What is the good in it? And I know that sounds woolly and fluffy sometimes, but that one question, what is the good in it? What good can I take out of it? That one question can really calm you down, bring clarity, and enable you to move on rather than mulling it over and pulling you back and stopping you moving forward into your extraordinary life. So, that's it really. One thing I would say is, just as a finisher, do it now. Do it now. Consistently. Get your expectations right. When life throws you off, get back on the horse, look at the good in it. No decision is a bad decision. Just moving forward, taking one step forward is better than keep repeating the starting over, starting over, starting over. You think you have time. You don't. Time is a finite resource. You don't have any more time. The time is now. So just do what you can. Look for the beauty in life. Look for what you have done and what you have achieved. And step into that amazing, amazing, most beautiful version of yourself.
I would like to end with something quite emotional.
Yeah, go on.
I lost my dear grandma recently. We said goodbye to her in this world yesterday.
Goodness, I'm crying too.
So she would say, always go for your dreams. Don't give up on your dreams. So those are words from my dear, dear grandma. And this podcast dedicated to you, Kit. Don't give up on your dreams.
Anyway, that's an emotional one, isn't it? A little bit longer than we normally have, but we are sending you so much love. Please share this podcast, share the love. If you haven't already, please drop by, give us reviews. If you like us, we hope you do. It means a world to us that we can do this and that we can share our love and, opinions and expert knowledge with you. And we hope it helps you. And we're sending you so, so much love.
Lots of
as
love.
Always. Mwah.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the Midlife Mentors with Claire and James Davis.
We'd love to hear from you. So drop us a line at info@themidlifementors.com with any questions or topic suggestions.
And make sure you join us on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. You can find us under the Midlife Mentors.
Yeah.